Jeremiah and I met when I did my first Hunger Games film, Catching Fire, and we were putting together an album of songs inspired by the movie, right? And Jeremiah is in a band, the Lumineers, and those guys wrote this really beautiful song called Gale Song that I loved.
I co-founded the Lumineers 20 years ago with my partner, the singer Wes, and about 20 years ago when we started the Lumineers, I could barely play the piano to save my life. I mean, I was a drummer in the band and just kind of learned piano, sort of trial by fire. I was sort of thrown into that deep end, and I wanted to learn piano, don't get me wrong, but it was very difficult, you know, to learn. And then fast forward maybe 12, 15 years later after the band had formed, I had released my first solo piano album called Piano Piano 1. And it was kind of a conversation I had with my manager years ago where I said, I really want to become a composer. I really want to get into films and cinema. But obviously this gig at this level, it's not just like, you know, you answer a Craigslist ad or you can just call a director and say, hey, can I do your next movie? It doesn't work like that, obviously. And I said to my management team, maybe I'll just put out this solo record, Piano Piano 1, as sort of a resume or a calling card. I actually sent it to a bunch of directors, Francis, of course, being one of them.
And so then when this movie came around and I started thinking about the kind of music that I thought would be appropriate for it in terms of the feel and the emotion that I was going for, I thought he'd be great. And so I called Jeremiah and asked if he'd be interested and told him what I was looking for, and he said, sure.
And then one of our managers had a rapport with this guy named Roy Lee, who's one of the producers on this film. The next morning I had breakfast with Roy in LA, and we had talked for just a couple of hours, and he said, you know, I might have this cool project. It's kind of early days, but I think you could be really great for it. You know, it's a Stephen King adaptation. For me, I was like trying to play it cool, like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. Stephen King, Francis Lawrence. But inside I was sort of freaking out because, I mean, I remember seeing I Am Legend years ago in the theaters. It really blew me away, and I was like, wow, Francis is like a, you know, profound, prolific director and filmmaker. At some point I got a text message, hey, it's Francis Lawrence. I'd like to talk to you about, you know, maybe scoring my next movie. We talked for, I think, 30 to 45 minutes, that first preliminary call. I felt very like we were on the same page creatively. And I said, I'm hearing some piano, I'm hearing some strings, but maybe not like, you know, some sort of raw, broken sense of humanity, and let's really tell a story. Let's do something different with the score. He loved that idea.
That was awesome. Beautiful. That's great.
There is an extreme darkness to the movie, and what I wanted was to sort of play against that a little bit, and I wanted something that was a little more lyrical and a little more beautiful and definitely emotional. I didn't want to lean into the darkness. I actually kind of wanted to lean into the other colors in the movie and more of the emotion that's at the heart of it and the camaraderie at the heart of it. I was also looking for something a little more stripped down and raw and you know, emotionally epic, but just not massive.
Super cool. Yeah. Way better.
we started talking about the themes, and we started talking about the emotional heart of the movie, and what to kind of play into. And what I said up front was that it would be amazing to have some stuff, whether it's a suite or a couple of tracks or something for the shoot, because I often will listen to music while we're filming and, you know, shooting a scene.
And then I had gotten a few versions of different scripts, and we basically started scoring a lot of it just from the script, which was incredible. And then we sent everything to them, and again, had some really great collaborative, positive reinforcement from Francis. He liked a bunch of ideas. He told me he was listening to stuff on set, which I thought was really cool.
Jeremiah basically went through the script and just on sort of upon reading, came up with tracks for opening credits, the beginning of the movie, the beginning of the walk, you know, different themes for the long walk, so that on any given day, you know, during shooting, I could put in, you know, one headphone, you know, I could listen to the actors and hold my phone up to my other ear and play, you know, music quietly.
Much more to five. That's really great.
There's a lot of strings that we had, this, you know, sort of group of string players. I think there were maybe 30 or 40 of them. And that's kind of the majority, plus the piano work that Jeremiah has done. He's added some other sort of like electronic kind of synth layers to it that sort of blend in, and done some really quite creative things with, you know, flipping things backwards and turning things around. And so again, there is a very unique, strange quality to it, but also feels very unique and very fresh. There's lots of pieces in this score and tracks that I love. One of the sort of earlier bits in the movie was something that Jeremiah had labeled as the Long Walk theme, and that was a piece, and it was sort of primarily a piano kind of melody that's sort of supported by these sort of pizzicato strings. That one I loved from the very beginning. When I first heard it, I was like, okay, this feels like movement and walking, and there's this great kind of thematic melody, and it had the right feel.
thank you to everybody. Made me cry multiple times over the last 48 hours. From the bottom of all of our hearts, thank you so much for playing our music, working so hard. You and everyone, you all are world-class musicians. It was an honor to be in this room and to just listen back to it, take after take. I'm beside myself and blown away, so thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Sweet